It's time for Inside the Gamecocks, the show with Phil Mullinax and J.C. Sherbert.
So, how many of you would say you speak English fairly well, but with some difficulty?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
You play to win the game.
Now, let's take it away, J.C. and Phil.
All right, Inside the Gamecocks, the show. J.C. Sherbert, Phil Mullinax here. I hate liars.
Yeah,
I hate liars.
Nothing works, man. Nothing works.
I mean, good God, dude. Like, okay, so Carolina Rise, overwhelmingly positive, right? I've been clear since the start. I'm not doing it for any money. Apparently, you know, someone that's affiliated with the other collective is bitching up a storm because he wants everybody to combine and just hand it over to them. Let me explain this, okay? Let me say this. I've never said one bad thing about not joining Garnet Trust Foundation, ever. Never said a thing about it. I believe that if you want to spend your money there, that they have a tax-free foundation that pays kids to do charity work, donates to charity, whatever. You want to spend your money, that's what. It's not about that. It's not about me. It's about the total Gamecock NIL stuff. And the Gamecocks need help, right? And so there's somebody there that owns a business that's done a lot of small deals with, his business. I've talked to him before about what he did. And, he's not approached Carolina Rise about doing business, but he's not a fit. His philosophy is that you're doing these kids a favor by, branding them or whatever. And what was mentioned to me was Parker White. And I'm like, Parker White's name's on the stadium. Why does he need to be branded? What are you possibly doing there? And I just have a different philosophy of it, and maybe it's because I was a recruiting guy. Maybe it's because I know what's going on at other schools. I'm just not interested in doing anything but helping Carolina compete dollars wise and putting money in the pockets of these players. I think it's great. You want to have them go through a program and pay them a little bit of money and have them do a bunch of things. Fine. You want to do that, and that's what they want to do? Fine. So this guy today is like, you want to fix NIL, combine the collectives and give it all to Garnet Trust. And I'm like, hell no, that's never going to happen because that's not my philosophy. And that I don't think that's the most effective. And as someone that knows a bunch about recruiting, personnel, college football, and has lived it, I don't. That's just not me. And I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying I think that it's fine to have, different options out there. I think everybody can serve a role, and a place. The purpose is, for us is to just help Carolina compete. And we've done it. Carolina Rise, I mean, you guys don't understand. I've actually lost money a lot putting money into it, for things like, T-shirts, promotional items, magnets. I bought the first round of magnets. I bought the first round of posters, I put my own money into it. I don't take a penny. I don't need to hire right now. It's not big enough. I mean, it's getting there. It's doubled in size in a week. I'm up to my butt in mailing and Christmas cards and magnets and stuff like that. But I enjoy doing it. It's a labor of love. And I'm doing it to help the Gamecocks. Now, I can't help that somebody else started it before me, right? And I can't help that they have a different business model. It's a different situation. Now, this thing gets up to millions of dollars a year, and there's stacks of envelopes. I mean, one day I may have to hire someone to facilitate all this. But right now, we're not even close to that. Right now, Carolina needs money. Right now, they need NIL deals for players. I'm just not interested. I'm not connected enough in the charitable world to even begin to know what to do. I am connected in the recruiting world and the college football world, though. I don't know what everybody else is doing. So, so this guy comes after it. I need to combine it and give it all to somebody else. And that pisses me off because I've worked hard at this, and I don't, like I said, I don't get a dime. I make a little money off this show. and I make most of my money off the bigspur.com. And if you guys have noticed, the bigspur.com is separate from Carolina Rise. I don't combine the two. I don't pay guys to do interviews on the Big Spur. I don't pay guys interviews to come on this show. They do commercials to benefit businesses that donate to Carolina Rise. And that is on the show. But Phil, some of this inventory we have, several of our advertisers, me and Phil don't get that money. It goes to Carolina Rise and to the players.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So let me
over here.
So then this guy comes back. So one of his buddies comes back and it's like, LOL, I promise you somebody is that kind of thing. It makes me mad. So this guy comes back. Postage stamps, I promise you somewhere outside the student body is getting a taste. Pull the wool over someone else's eyes.
Getting it.
It's like it's just like and then so he comes back and says you need a small paid staff. I'm like, not now.
No, I mean, you're just
Why?
getting it off the ground. I mean, why would you kill yourself with overhead? And then, some people just, I don't know. You can't have a magnanimous gesture or do something like that without somebody getting a taste, and I don't understand that. It's absolutely
BS. And I promise you I'm like that. And see, I think they're just pissed off.
Do you see Carolina Rise's name on any of the buildings in downtown Columbia or Greenville? Come on, guys.
I mean, and this guy's been like that for a while. And I talked to him and checked into his deals, and they suck for kids. I mean, for the players. And it's not focused on football. It's not focused on the sports that need it. It's a broad-based thing. And look, I'm fine. He's a business owner. Respect his business, respect him personally. I'm just like, if I were a kid, I would rather do something different for money. And that's my whole thing. That's why I started this thing. It wasn't to kind of get more people on the Big Spur or more people to listen to me yammer about Carolina football. It's basically this. South Carolina is behind in NIL, and I wanted to use my platform, my time, my connections to facilitate that. And I just wanted to be clear about that, because this little butthole on the internet, that not the guy that started the thread, but the guy that responds, is like pulling the wool over somebody's eyes, so that's the deal there. He's just like saying that tweet came across as petty. How was it petty? I said, we do not take any money. I was like, we're not combining because we have different philosophies and different purposes. You have different, okay, so businesses can work together and thrive. I mean, the potato farmer, he works with the grocery store. They all serve a purpose to feed us, right? I'm fine with working with whoever or whatever. And in fact, I have spoken with guys at the other collective to try to help with players. But, and if you notice too, none of our deals are exclusive. Their kids are free to go make as many dollars as they want. And it just pisses me off that, I put in all this time and money and effort with my brother to make this thing. And look, I'd rather be sitting here talking about football. I'd rather be sitting there posting on the message board, writing articles, doing that, because that's where my income comes from, right? That's how I feed my family and overfeed myself with beef sandwiches, right? And so this guy's he wants to combine it and give it all to those guys because he likes those guys. And he's and then
he puts his money, right? Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and did he say he needed to combine both arms of the Garnet Trust and then the Garnet Trust Foundation? I mean,
no, they
here's
want to
the
give
thing:
it.
we don't have single solitary big donors. That's where you see the single, collective units, right? Like Miami has one giant collective funded by John.
One guy.
You got Tennessee, same thing, giant collective, mainly funded by single donor. Carolina doesn't have a giant single donor for NIL, so it's going to take a more guerrilla tactics, if you will, for collecting small donations. Lots of small donations add up, and they're.
Yeah, and what it is
doing the work of all.
We've been busy, right? We've been growing things. We got a Nick and a Manoir deal that we put out. We've doubled the collective in total numbers since last Monday, right? Our audience and our people we're trying to reach have responded. I couldn't be more proud of the fan base, even through all the negativity about Dowell Loggins, right? We have continued to grow, and 100% of that money after things like postage stamps, and people don't believe me how much postage stamps are. You're talking about mailing out 500 Christmas cards, right, dude? And all that good stuff.
$250, $275 just for the postage alone, right?
Well, I mean, this guy Kyle is like, maybe he was hangry. I mean, what are you talking about, Kyle? Or are you what are you, brain dead? I mean, I didn't say that, was not snarky at all. He was just like, yeah, we got to combine it and give it all to Garner. I'm like, no, the different philosophies, different purposes. Well, I disagree. See, this is what I'm talking about. I wasn't the one that was snarky. I can get freaking snarky if you want me to. So that's the deal there. Shout out to Caitlin for defending me. But anyway, I just want to make that clear to you guys, because a lot of you have joined up and your hard-earned money. Times are hard out there these days. Hopefully the economy's coming back a little bit, but it's hard. Times are hard. The stock market. I mean, my fiance's daggum 401ks dropped 20%, and we won't get into the time frame on that as to when it started. But look, I mean, I'm sorry. I love doing the Carolina Rise stuff. Me and my brother, we do it out of love. I actually enjoy writing letters to people and finding out where everybody's from. We have people from San Diego, LA, New York City, even Chicago. There's Gamecocks in Chicago. I had no idea existed. I mean, you probably think it's the third largest city in the country. There's probably a lot around. But one guy lives in Homer Glen, where I live. I filled out I sent him a magnet. I was like, I could have just dropped it off with a beef sandwich and a swift kick in the nuts if you want to, But anyway, can I say kick in the nuts? I don't know. Anyway,
sure.
But I mean, yeah,
we can go around saying drop your nuts and cocks all the time.
Yeah,
I'm sure we can get away with that.
But I just wanted to make that clear, because I mean, the last thing, like the little jerk the other day that was talking about me having the psychopath that I have no connections, my name is Mud, all that good stuff. That's one thing, because I think I've been in the website business and reporting news and been on the air long enough. People know they can trust that I'm a professional and know what I'm doing, and entertain you and all that good stuff. The collective is it's like a baby. It's like a newborn infant. Babies don't have immune systems yet. Babies don't have, so misinformation and lies and reckless speculation, that does piss me off, because that does turn it into a competition, right? That does make me think, well, these guys are just mad because we're cutting into their money. And I'm like, well, man, this isn't our money. This isn't your money. This is y'all's money, the fans. That's y'all's money. And y'all's money needs to go to players. Now, let's see, we got a $3-4 million a year coming in off of it, something like that. Well, then you probably need somebody to facilitate it, because I'll never be on the air. I'll never be on the message board. I'll never be on the website. It gets that big. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming enough right now, but it's the holidays. And, I just kind of feel like I maybe work at Macy's or something, right? My ex-mother-in-law worked at Macy's, and during the holidays, she was a grouch because it's just hard work, or Amazon or something like that. I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm a highly intelligent individual. I don't know everything about everything, and there's stuff I don't know about at all. But I know this stuff, and I don't mind doing it. And I'm perfectly capable of balancing everything. And I just don't really understand, this notion that, give it all to them, because I just don't. I think we're doing a good job. We got more football players coming down the pipe. We have like 5 key baseball players on small dollar deals that have helped their tuition and their lives, and because they're not on full scholarship. We gave G.G. Jackson a big deal, and got him in. And I know the basketball team does not look good. Lost last night, 84-70 to UAB. Overwhelmingly positive stuff. And now that we've grown, you're going to see more and more and more. It's going to come rapidly, rapidly. So I just wanted to clarify that because, as Shane Beamer said yesterday, Twitter's not real life. Real life, my brother and I are working our butts off on this thing. It's grown. It's doubled in size. You guys have been tremendous. And I don't see it as a competition. I mean, I think that, I've said it before, we do initial deals, things like that for younger players, mostly baseball, a little bit of basketball. And then we've got more things coming up with some of the more established players. I don't know what they do over there. I know Josh Van signed some stuff, and we don't keep players from double dipping. I don't care if they go do anything with Garnet Trust. I don't care. The more, the merrier.
Yeah,
it's about
exclusivity, right?
Yeah,
everybody want to keep everybody
It is
happy.
about putting money in the pockets of these players, the most amount of money that they can possibly get, and the highest possible percentage of your money that you guys pay for membership to go toward them. And that's my business philosophy. And with this, and it will not change until it has to. And I hope it has to at some point, because when it does, that means there's a bunch of money coming in. And Carolina's not going to have the problems. I mean, I work closely with people at the university on all this. Look, people need to understand who they're talking to. I mean, I've built successful website businesses and stuff. I know kind of how to, sell memberships, for lack of a better term. I've done it at record speed. And I just don't appreciate people sitting there going, in the middle of all this hard work that, well, here's the answer to Carolina's NIL woes. Turn it over to somebody that, turn it over to the other guys. You're not going to, and then the insinuation was that Carolina Rise is holding NIL back in Carolina. I disagree. I think actually we're facilitating growth with the NIL situation. So I didn't want to talk too much about that. I'm sorry. I spent 15 minutes on it, but it pisses me off.
Well, here's the deal. If you've got proof, Kyle, that Carolina Rise has, subverted its fiduciary responsibility here, provide it. Let us all see. Or shut the hell up.
Yeah. It's like, Franklin's like, it puts money in the pot for athletes. So I don't know. I'm not getting. I'm done with this. I think this is stupid, and this is ridiculous. It's just dumb, to sit there and go back and forth with all this. Their little fan base over there is fine. Some of them may not like me because of what I say or what I write, or maybe they run into me on the message board on my site and gotten banned. It has nothing to do with Carolina Rise has nothing to do with the bigspur.com other than we talk about it. Right. Mm-hmm. And so maybe they don't, that's fine. I'm not getting into this. I'm staying above the fray. But I am going to defend myself against misinformation. I'm going to stay above the fray on this. You guys keep joining up. We're going to keep, making Carolina great again. No, just didn't mean to use that. All right. Award-winning Nana Sports chat box. Good morning, Jerry. Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Cynical. Lance says, what up, Killis? How we doing today? I'm over sipping a cold Loggins. Woo, shoot, buddy.
That's right.
Jared says, I think the show's outro music should be Kenny Loggins' I'm All Right and the intro Danger Zone. I would flip those because I was listening to some I'm All Right yesterday. And I think it'd be a great way to start the show. I'm all right. Nobody. But the problem is because we stream on YouTube and we do monetize it on YouTube, like with Google ads, it pays us about like $0.25 per show.
Yeah, heaven forbid, right? Yeah.
It adds up though, because they popped us for they did. We have a little Eric Church riff that we play that they've never popped us for, but they popped us for freaking Sanford and Son, and they popped us for Guns N' Roses. It's So Easy. I should have known better with that though, because Axel is like a freak about that stuff. I can't believe people are taking over. So Anyway, but man, if I could figure out how to do it, man, it's Jamie Bradford. How could we do this without it being, and the opening music to the show is a band from Spartanburg called Albert Hill back in the day. They don't exist anymore. So I figured it'd be safe to use that.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody's really coming after those.
Yeah. And then the other music's just like stock, like some of the other music that we play. Oh, by the way, it's my mother's birthday today.
Hey, happy birthday,
Mom. Happy birthday to my mama. She's teaching school in Greenville County, just like Phil's wife does. And great woman. Love my mom to death. Going to see her here in about 11 days at Disney on my birthday, which is December 26th. Lance says, I vote for Danger Zone intro music. Could Trey Knox replace both Bell and Stogner? He's kind of a combo of the two.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Daniel says, where's Bobby Bentley going to work next year? And is he tied to where Brooks ends up? I think, Danny, that it's possible. I don't know. I heard Bobby in the mix. Has Wofford hired somebody yet? Heard he's in the mix there. He may get retained. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I know Travis Trickett off that staff, who was the OC for Jeff last year. He went to Coastal Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
He's another friend of mine off that staff. I don't think South Florida should have fired Jeff Scott. Everybody's going to say,
yeah, but look at his record. Yeah.
Well, no, they just, and rightfully so. Jeff Scott and his dad, when they left, just talked all kinds of smack about Carolina, which is amazing considering you go 1-10 the last year, thanks in large part to your boneheaded decision to. That's Brad, not Jeff. Jeff was a ball boy here when Brad was the coach, but Jeff got a lot of mileage out of beating Carolina as the holder at Clemson and all that. So a lot of fans don't like him, but I've never met the guy. I know we've got mutual friends, but I'll say this: it's I think that South Florida show they're firing coaches like they're Florida or Tennessee. I mean, and they fired Jeff Scott, they fired Charlie Strong, they fired Skip Holtz. I'm like, wow.
What glory days are you trying to get back to down there?
Meanwhile, UCF has a brand new stadium. They fill up. They're going to the Big 12. They're winning games. That's their rival. And UCF was behind USF for a long time. Lance says, if I ever win the lottery, you can bet your ass I'm giving $1 million to Carolina Rise. That's awesome. Morning, fellas. Brian got his prize pack, and Phil and JC. That was awesome. Thank you. And also breaking news, Gene Sapikoff is an absolute bozo, still trying to call Shane a liar this morning. I saw the tweet. Why question that? Number one, and he put out a tweet about beat writers. Like, you guys text me. Beat writers don't know anything or much. David Cloninger knows stuff in our market. Ben Portnoy may know a little bit or some. He's new. Who else? Other markets, it's all the website guys, and I'm not tooting my own horn there. I'm saying there's a reason you get very little scoop in the newspaper or with the beat writers, and it's because and I feel bad for them. They're probably all talented reporters, but that's just kind of how it goes. GWO for life. Just joined Carolina Rise. Thank you. Oh, by the way, Brian, I'm glad you liked the prize pack. I put a little tender love and care into it. So, and thank Sawyer Nix with the mental edge. He funded that. So, and I ended up getting because I get some of the stuff at cost. It ended up being Sawyer paid a certain amount. We ended up putting like $15 into Carolina Rise specifically for that. So it's not bad. It's a good deal. Lance says both are great and needed, and we as a fan base have to come together. I agree. I just give your money to whoever you want. If you give, I don't care. It's fine. It's one less magnet I have to send out. Lance says, love my 1801 care package. Yeah, Lance, sent you a little something extra. Christian says, well, ha, 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 ha. Well, that momentum was very short-lived. It's Christian, our Tar Heel fan, buddy. What a joke of a program. What are you talking about, Christian? There's no stalled momentum. What are you talking about? To hell with the haters. Jeff Fowler's going to be in. By the way, Christian is our Tar Heel buddy that came in that likes to talk smack. Jeff Fowler says, probably about basketball.
No,
probably about basketball after beating Clemson, because I think that's the last time we talked to him. Look, I'm not going to lie and tell you that the basketball team's good. That would be intellectually. That would be like me telling you the sky is not baby blue; it's green. Literally I keep saying, big players leaving left and right. Decommits from your biggest target. How are you going up? You keep being combative like that in the Nana Sports chat box, Christian, you're going to get punted.
Yep, that's right.
Because you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground about this program. You're just looking at it on the surface. And by the way, great performance against the mighty Clemson Tigers. You were the softest football program in the country. Mac Brown made Texas soft, and they're still soft. And you guys are going to be soft for years, long after he retires.
Get ready for decades of soft.
Get ready for the opener next year, because this is your reality. Soft football. Okay? I love your basketball team. But, even though they dropped out of the top 25 recently. But soft football. There's your reality in Chapel Hill. So you can sign all the 4- and 5-star guys you want, but you are still 3 years in to having a top 10 recruiting class soft as Charmin tissue. Soft. So there's your reality, Christian. And get the hell out of my chat box. Let's punt him.
Defense has been built with the wool of the ram and not the damn horn. So,
So that's the deal there. Who cares if he's in the wrong podcast? Irrelevant. Higher learning at PG. Literally, South Carolina fans, momentum, this and that. What an idiot. I'm scrolling through there. Krieger says, JC, did you say USC has 75 alumni worth over $50 million? Where are all those guys? I hadn't seen the list. Somebody else did. But 76 goes, JC says, and that's the deal there. I have said that a lot. I need to throw in some all rights. All
right.
All right. Dr. Rob comes in. Merry Christmas, JC and Phil. Merry Christmas, Dr.
Rob.
NIL is what happens when the universities want to share the wealth. Just say it. Forrest says, drop your nuts, sure. That's what I'm doing. Bo. UNC is garbage. Little Sisters of the Poor hung 50 on Christian squad. Douche McCoy says, JC, you shouldn't have to explain yourself. How are you feeling today? I'm feeling great. I just, like I said, you go through like the lying psychopath that, and I should just probably stay off Twitter, but this particular guy that's pushing this agenda, and it is an agenda because he doesn't really know anything about NIL. I've talked to him. It's an agenda that benefits him and his buddies, and I've never once in this whole Carolina Rise NIL thing thought about anything to benefit me. Okay. I don't even push it that hard on the message board because I want to keep those things separate. Right. Unfortunately, it's not separate. So maybe he says, make sure you tell her the award-winning Nana Sports chat box, which is her happy birthday to my mom. Happy birthday, Mom. I guess Darius Rush opted out. Yeah. Not good there. All these writers can't be as awesome as Ron Morris. JC, what can you tell us about the players can now get paid by the hour? They can. They get, some deals are right there, and they're kind of straightforward. And you don't have to work by the hour. I refuse. I would be, unless it's a deal that's just great. I mean, I would not want to have a situation where I ever have to pay a player by the hour. They don't have hours. They study. They go to class. They have social lives. They have football practice. They have workouts. They don't have time, right? It's not. JFK said it's not what your country can do for you. It's what you can do for your country. It's not what the players can do for you from an NIL perspective. It's what you can do for them. That's my philosophy. And we do get a lot of value out of it. Like I said, we live in a world where people pay Instagram influencers $100,000. So is Chris coming in now? We got Chris now.
Yeah, about 11:30. He should be in at any time.
All right,
Let's take a little
so we're
break
going to
here.
take a break here. My bad. So we'll take a break here, and then we'll take another one like at 11:50. Sorry, I rambled on. I did get your chat message, Phil, and I apologize.
No, you're
so
good.
anyway, we'll talk soon. This is Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
Golfers and wannabe golfers, former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor is now a full-time golf instructor in the Midlands of South Carolina. In-person golf lessons are held at the Country Club of Lexington. Half-hour, hour, on course 9 or 18 holes. And if you're outside of South Carolina, Meredith conducts virtual lessons. Just send in your golf swing for analysis. Gift cards are available for in-person 1-hour lessons. Connect on Twitter at Mayor Taylor and find her online at McKellarEnterprises.org. Her email is on the website. Schedule your next lesson today with Meredith Taylor, former Gamecock golfer.
Gamecock Nation, do you need a place to stay for the big game? Many hotel booking engines keep all the commissions, but at Fan Plans, you support Inside the Gamecocks, still earn your hotel loyalty points, and you receive an email with direct confirmation from the hotel. Whether you are visiting Columbia to cheer on Carolina or hitting the road to follow the team, get in the stands with Fan Plans.
This is Coach O. Now back to the show. Go Tigers. In the song.
Welcome back to Inside the Gamecocks, the show, everybody. The show is brought to you by Express Sunrooms of Columbia. Give John Barber a call, 803-446-4662 for your next outdoor retreat. Damn it, I keep saying next. Next. I mean, how many outdoor retreats do you need? Backyard retreats. Anyway, call John. Talk to him about, sealing up your porch, keeping all the pollen and dust off of it for the upcoming spring. And, of course, get in touch with Cindy Searfoss here in Coldwell Banker Kane Realty in the upstate, 864-414-5271 for your upstate residential real estate needs. We're joined now by Chris Phillips of the Spurs Up Show on the McKellar Enterprises guest line. Chris, you've been indulging in some Dowell Loggins here lately?
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, JC, Phil, I appreciate y'all having me on. I heard that y'all had maybe a UNC hacker infiltrating your comments. I was reading our Discord, and we had they were talking about it. I was like, what madness is going on in JC and Phil's chat today?
Dude,
I didn't even have to boot him. The chat people took care of it. All our audience just swarmed on him like bees.
I love it.
Yeah, he's been around before. He's talking. I guess he's talking smack. About a couple of months ago, just came in. It's just like, man,
that F around and find out me. Yeah. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah, that's definitely goes
on. You come into the lion's den, you might get eaten. So
yeah, there's no doubt about it. Well, Chris, an eventful week, Gamecock Nation. Dowell Loggins, your thoughts. I think that the press conference calmed people down because of the specifics he laid out. Yeah, it's almost like he was reading off a sheet that said, "Here's what's wrong with the offense," and we all knew it, which is amazing. But your thoughts, first impressions on the hire.
Well, I'll tell you this: I was like many others when the news first dropped in regards to just the unfamiliarity. I think was the most concerning part. It was just like, who is this guy? Right? It was somebody we'd never heard of, and I think back to when the OC search first started, and our good friend Brad Crawford, right? He dropped like a hot names, and I think there were 8 names on there, and I don't think Dowell Loggins was even listed. So, maybe it was a bit unfair from the jump. And I told people, too, my initial concerns, they were selfish desires, right? Like for me, selfishly, I wanted a name. Selfishly, I wanted this long track record, this resume, if you will. And like you mentioned, JC and Phil, listening to first Shane Beamer go on one of his more electric pressers, one of his more electric rants, and then listening to Dowell Loggins. I mean, I loved what I heard. You know what I mean? Like you said, JC, it was like they addressed everything I was hoping they would address. And what I took away most is that they understand that South Carolina needs, a much more simple offensive scheme. Want the players that they can learn quickly and they can execute on, they can play fast. And, I loved, again, hearing Loggins talking about putting pressure on defenses. He's a guy that obviously knows ball, right? He knows ball. He knows good football, despite what some of the NFL experiences might say. And I thought Shane Beamer, you can – I know there's been some out there that have questioned his style of things, but I love the passion he brings, the fire he brings, the commitment to winning and the commitment to excellence that South Carolina is evident every time he takes the podium. But, I thought he did a good job in regards to, laying out the reasons that Dowell Loggins was the obvious choice. And I would say to everyone, and I say to myself too, that, despite maybe some of the question marks we may still have, I look at it this way, guys. I believe in Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer believes in Dowell Loggins. Therefore, I must believe in Dowell Loggins until I have reason otherwise. I'm certainly not going into 2023 with, kind of looking for the first signs of trouble type deal. I gave Marcus Satterfield a fair chance. We're going to give Dowell Loggins a fair chance. But I do think there's reasons to believe, and, it's just a press conference, right? Nobody's ever won a national title because they won the presser. But from the things we heard, if they truly stick to those things that we heard in regards to a much – and I just, guys, they said it over and over again about the simpler approach. We got to be simpler on offense. Loggins pointed to Spencer Rattler that he played more free the final 2 weeks. It was all – they weren't taking shots at Sat, but I think they were just pointing out that once they stripped things back, they made it much easier to learn and comprehend and execute on. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, right? The proof's in the numbers, the proof's in the final 2 weeks. So I think if they're able to do that, I think it'll be a team effort, which it should be. It shouldn't just be all on Dowell Loggins. This should be Loggins. This should be Beamer, Step, the entire offensive staff coming together to put the best possible product out there week to week. And like I said, we all believe in Shane Beamer, and after the way they finished the season, how could you not? So, hearing the presser, hearing Loggins' comments, I do feel more confident, more comfortable in the hire moving forward. And just, at this point now, excited to see what it looks like September the 2nd against the Tar Heels in Charlotte.
Talking with Chris Phillips, Spurs Up Show, High Energy Thursday. Don't forget, I'm going back on, I always do, at 1:15. I'll be on the Spurs Up Show today. Also, I'm on that SEC podcast at 2:15 today. I don't know that that's live. I think they just they record that. So with Mike Bratton and those guys. Chris, the press conference yesterday got interesting. Gene Sapikoff is not letting go of this this notion that Dowell Loggins hasn't had a job offer. He puts out like a call to action with all his beat writer buddies. I maintain that beat writers probably aren't the best people to ask about something like that. But, did you think Beamer was too combative, or did you think Gene? I mean, I'm not even asking you to take a side, but your general thoughts about that. I just, if I'm Gene, I'm letting it go. I'm just like, and look, so what if you can't find anybody to tell you that? Maybe it's because they don't want to tell you. But I don't think it necessarily makes Beamer out to be a liar or Loggins out to be a liar.
Yeah, the follow-up question that Gene had to Loggins, I thought was the really crappy one in regards to basically he was almost trying to see if he could get Loggins to say something contradictory to what Beamer said. And I'm all for applying pressure, asking tough questions, but I don't believe in asking questions where it's almost like you are intentionally trying to pit two people against each other and make somebody look bad, almost, if you will. I'll say this about the Beamer versus Sapikoff thing. I don't even know if it's that serious, but I'm a bit biased. I'm a Beamer guy. I'm gonna ride with Shane Beamer. I mean, I will say this: you don't want to go out of your way to make enemies in the media, and vice versa. By the way, if you're Gene Sapikoff, you don't want to go out of your way to make an enemy of Shane Beamer because that's just not a working relationship that you want to be a part of if that thing gets nasty, if you will. But no, listen, I think Beamer's a fiery guy, and he sort of had to sit there and watch everything unravel and unfold on social media. And I think, Gene Sapikoff, I looked at his article, and it was, in regards to questioning the resume, and if you want to, I think it's fair to question Dowell Loggins' resume. Even after everything that's been said, I understand all the coaches he's worked with have said he's a great coach. Hey, coaches Will Muschamp's worked with say he's a great coach. I mean, that to me is like, it's great, but like, does it tell the full story? I don't know. So if you want to question the resume, fine, but some of the things he said in that article where, the price of mediocrity now runs at 3 years, 1 million per, it's like, that's a little harsh. Like that's a tough one to stomach, So, Shane Beamer, you know what you're getting. Again, he's a fiery guy. He's going to defend his people. I think it's one of the things that makes him so great. And, I would say that mindset or that attitude, it works well, especially when you're winning. Now, I will be curious to see if things don't go the way that we hope. How does Gene Sapikoff react, whatever. But I'll say this. I had no problem with the way Shane Beamer handled his press conference, and he's a fiery guy, and I admire the fact that he's going to defend his people and defend his program. And, he certainly did that yesterday. Like I said, I didn't love the question Gene had for Loggins in regards to almost making it seem like he wanted Loggins to go back on the word Beamer had, and there'd be some, because what would have happened, right? If Loggins would have answered the question even if he just worded it differently, but it sounded differently, I'm sure somebody, whether it be Sapikoff, somebody else, would have tried to twist the words. And he said this, so I love what Loggins said about Coach Beamer's a man of his word. He's a man of integrity. I'm just going to leave it at that. So I the way it played out, again, I'm on Beamer's side. I don't really know that there's even a feud to talk about moving forward, but Beamer's a fiery guy, and that's the way he carries himself. And I love the passion. I love the energy. I mean, I told people yesterday, listen, I'm always going to apply pressure, and there should be pressure because this is South Carolina football. This is the SEC. And, I think that chip on the shoulder that Beamer has, that fire, that's a great thing. That'll take him and us very far. And I think it's the attitude that this South Carolina football program, guys, as we talked about at the end of the season, I think it'd be beneficial for them to have just sort of that, hey, we're the underdog. It's us against the world, chip on the shoulder. Let's go out and show everybody and prove everybody wrong. So I love it. I love Beamer's attitude. But it was an interesting sort of underlying storyline of that press conference yesterday.
Yeah, I found a article in SB Nation quoting Matt Jones of Kentucky Sports Radio that Loggins was a serious candidate for the job. Now, whether or not he turned it down, a lot of these coaching searches things are kind of schematics. It's like, you weren't getting it anyway, but you pulled your name out. So
yeah,
technically, like Rich, I'll never forget the Rich Rodriguez story that he turned down Tanner. And I had some knowledge that because I kind of had a contact at Auburn at the time that was filling me in on Muschamp, that Muschamp had already gotten the job. And I was like, but that during that search, it was weird because it seemed like Tanner, started just randomly interviewing people at the end, and it made it look like they didn't know who they were going to hire. And, but your Willie Taggarts and Greg Schianos of the world interviewed at that point. I noticed Tanner didn't really interview a bunch of people at the end, although this time it kind of, I guess Billy Napier did interview the day that Beamer was hired. So
yeah,
maybe that's just his MO. Darius Rush opts out today, Chris. Significant loss.
Well, dang, I didn't see that. Why are you going to spoil my Thursday like that, man? I just got on. Come on.
I'm so
Jesus.
sorry.
Where have I been? Did this just happen? Where have I been? What am I doing?
Yeah, he just came out, and I guess he's going to go pro.
I was like, this happened this morning, and I missed it. All right, that's all right. Well,
I mean, Darius is a great success story and all that. I mean, I wish he would. For Carolina though, now you're down Rush, you're down your two lockdown corners. You still got Dowell. My guess is O'Donnell Fortune slides over there, and then he's the starter. O'Donnell's a guy they really need to step up for next year. So I guess next year at cornerback starts this year, right, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm just still trying to process and I'll say this: Darius Rush, fantastic player. I got to meet Darius, just kind of off the record. Got to play golf with Darius one time. Great kid, great dude, hilarious guy, awesome. It was me, him, Jalen Dickerson. This was like 2 summers ago. So, but no, awesome stuff. He's a great dude, and I'm happy for Darius because, again, a genuine soul and somebody that I think overcame adversity. What he came in as a wide receiver, switch position. So to ascend to that and be at the opportunity or be at the point where he can opt out and focus on his NFL future, happy for him. But yeah, no, in this bowl game, I think it's a great opportunity where guys can slide in, and I'm excited to see the Anthony Roses of the world, the Keenan Nelson Juniors. I mean, I don't know exactly who's going to play now, but it'll give other guys opportunities. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the positive side, the positive spin on it for the bowl game. I just think, guys, in regards to opt-outs for bowl games, and I don't blame anybody for taking care of their business and doing their thing and focusing on their future. I think about it, and it's like, I don't know. It's kind of wild to me that guys, they work so hard all regular season to earn the privilege, the right, the opportunity to go play in a bowl game like the Gator Bowl. And these bowl games just don't have the luster. If you're not in the playoff, they just don't have the draw. And I don't know how bowl games solve that. Maybe I think them putting together their own NIL deals, their own packages to lure guys. I mean, I almost like a pay for play thing. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, no, I'm happy for Darius. And again, when somebody opts out, it just gives somebody else an opportunity to step in and make plays and shine. And you never know, that could be kind of the springboard going into 2023 for a young guy to, have an all-conference type year, have a big-time year, and we'll see who it is. But yeah, Rush and Cam are out. That's big. That's big. So that'll be tough.
It is. It's interesting with all the opt-outs, and I think it's the current landscape, Chris, of the college football right now with NIL, the portal, and all of this, and the way that they've allowed this portal to open up so early in December that, I mean, these bowl games for a lot of these teams are going to turn into, like early spring games. Mm-hmm. You're going to, see what you got left and give these guys some opportunities, which I think is great. I mean, it's not going to be the product that you saw close the year. But you can still come away with a big win because you're playing a marquee program, and you still got everything on the table. And I don't think it should deter anybody from showing up. It obviously, at this point, I don't think it's deterring anybody from buying tickets. Yeah. So let's all show up in Jacksonville and show out.
Yeah, I will be there. We'll be there Wednesday through Saturday, and I will say it's kind of like when Coach Spurrier and Beamer as well, but they talk about like Sunday night. That's when your young guys scrimmage each other. I'm like, this is going to be kind of like a Sunday night scrimmage. I feel like a lot of young guys are going to be playing. So, it's it'll be fun though. I mean, South Carolina, Notre Dame. I mean, that's I'm excited to start talking the matchup. Obviously, with the NIL and transfer portal madness, and it's great for content. But I'm excited to talk ball again and get back to some on the field because again, even with all this craziness going on, if you beat Notre Dame and you finish with 9 wins. I mean, this is going to be a really, really fun offseason, preseason, if you will, for South Carolina football. So it would be huge, right? It would be huge. I mean, you're still going to have momentum, but we saw last year when you win your bowl game, it's a whole different level of hype and momentum going into the next year. So, I mean, it's I think it's a whole separate issue. We could spend tons of time on talking about how do you solve the bowl game issues, if you will, if you want to call it an issue. How do you get guys? Do you convince guys to play? And I think that's a whole separate thing. But either way, no matter who plays, whatever 22 show up, I'm excited to watch the Gamecocks take on Notre Dame.
Talking with Chris Phillips, Notre Dame's got some guys out too. I think it's kind of interesting, Chris, with that matchup because missing the corners, Notre Dame does have some really good receivers, younger guys, but their quarterback situation, I mean, they're down their starter. The guy that is playing, Tyler Buckner, I think he started probably not the most accurate guy in the world. Maybe it could be a little like the Kentucky game where Carolina's, I guess, without Pickens, they don't have Pickens, but with what D lineman they have left, if they can get pressure and, stop the run, I think that's going to be the key to the football game. But it should be a heck of a game, with everybody out. You probably will see some new players step forward. Yeah. What do you think they're going to do at running back? I mean, because with Bell and Lloyd out, that's kind of your top two. I know you'll see McDowell, but it's not ideal for him to be the every down back. Right. Christian Bill Smith, or will we see somebody kind of come out of nowhere?
Yeah, I was going to say, is Christian Bill Smith healthy? Because if he is, I would imagine we'd see a pretty heavy dose of him. But I mean, guys, it's a bowl game. Why not throw Lavassier Carroll out there? Why not give Turbo Miller some touches? I mean, you got guys, we've got bodies, we know we do. You know what I mean? So, I would expect though a heavy dose of Juju and CBS. But man, everybody keeps talking about Lavassier Carroll, and I don't know if he's ready. I mean, obviously, I'm not at practice or anything, but. There are capable bodies on this roster that can play the running back position. So, again, it's just one of those deals where, it's happy trails of the guys that have left and best of luck, and we'll keep it moving. And we've got other capable guys that want a shot and want an opportunity. I mean, I know those guys that, and I tell people that, those guys that you haven't seen on the field that haven't played this year, they put in just as much work, if not even more, because they're not playing, but they work just as hard as the guys who are the everyday starters. So, I know there's a lot of guys, man, that are itching to get playing time and itching to hit the field. And, they're calling up their parents, their friends, like, I'm going to play in the game. Like, I'm going to play. So, it's a great opportunity, and I'm looking forward to it. But, a Carroll would be great, a Turbo Miller, maybe a Nathan Harris Waynick. I don't know. I mean, you've got bodies, though, that I think are DJ Twitty's the other one, looked really good in the spring.
Yeah.
Right? So, you got guys that deserve a shot. And, again, where one guy leaves and opts out, another can step in and make a name for himself. You know what I mean? So we've seen it before in bowl games.
Absolutely. Ryan Brewer in the 2000.
How about Dak Joyner getting some carries? Why not? Why not Dak?
Dak, I think Nate the formation they used where Nate Atkins is in the backfield. I mean, that was effective.
Hey, I say we could just run it back with Dak Joyner in the bowl game again. Why not?
Why not?
Well, he's got a good track record.
No doubt. Wrapping up with Chris Phillips from the Spurs Up Show. Big recruiting weekend this weekend, Chris. It's going to be interesting to see who gets in the boat. in terms of from the portal and also the high school ranks. But, your thoughts on this Trey Knox situation. I thought he was one of Arkansas's best players, big athletic tight end. If they get him, I think, man, that kind of alleviates some of the sting of the departures of Bell and Stockton.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, JC. I just recall, it's almost deja vu. We were talking about Trey Knox going into that Arkansas game. That was a matchup that we were talking about, and we were highlighting him. And I think that'd be a huge pickup, and all signs point to that he will be a Gamecock, just in regards to the smoke that you hear, and it would make a lot of sense, right? Loggins coming over, and so Knox would be huge. And I think when you look at the comparisons between Knox and Stogner and Bell statistically, and you look at Knox's skill set, a guy that played the wide receiver position, then transferred to tight end. And, I talked to those, the Arkansas people, shout out to Porter from the Hog Talk. The Arkansas side of folks, they love Trey Knox. They think he's a great player. And I think he'd be a great addition, no doubt. In regards to recruiting, JC, we've got a lot to discuss at 115, my guy. We do. But, no, it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. It's crazy. We're 6 days away from the signing day, if you will, the early signing day, 6 days away from that. So it'll be electric, but I will be curious to see how Beamer handles balancing the portal, signing his high school guys. And I'm confident they'll finish strong, but it's never been tougher, and they get paid handsomely for it, but it's never been tougher to be a college football coach, I think, than it is right now. When you're having to manage the portal, you're having to manage high school recruiting, you're having to recruit your own roster, you're having to manage NIL. It's just, there's so many different moving pieces. And Beamer mentioned it yesterday, right? He's like, it's tough for all of us. It's hard for everybody. So, but I'm confident in Beamer. He'll get the guys we need. And, I loved his attitude yesterday. When you're going to a certain destination and you're striving for greatness, not everybody's meant to be on that journey with you. You know what I mean? So, but Trey Knox, again, back to him, would be a huge pickup. And I would expect them again to attack the portal really hard, same as they did last year. I think Beamer's a believer, and you have to be, right? It's a great opportunity for South Carolina to upgrade at multiple positions and, upgrade quickly. And we saw it, guys, because of the guys you pick up in the portal can completely change the perception of your upcoming season. Without Spencer Rattler, Antoine Wells, Christian Beal-Smith, Devontae Reed, where would this team have been? You know what I mean? So, another huge opportunity in the portal, but also, of course, you want to sign your high school guys, and I'm confident Beamer will do that.
All right, so we'll let you go, Chris. Have a great show, and I'll look forward to joining you on at about 1:15.
Yeah, JC and Phil, appreciate it. And JC, looking forward to chatting with you later this afternoon, my friend. Y'all take care.
All right, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
All right, we're behind on a break since I ran it earlier. We'll get that out of the way and then come back and then have another break and then come back in the second hour. All up in the Nana's Porch chat box. Also, the IHelp Consulting mailbag. We're going to talk about this recruiting weekend, but we got to get a break first. All right, right after this, we'll be back. Hey, man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
You know what, Phil? Let's ask Stone Blanton.
Hey, JC and Phil, if you want a solution to your IT problems, give Heritage Digital a call. Our boy Matt Odom has a low-cost, one-price solution that will get you running right. Call 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com and ask for Matt. He will hook you up today and tell them Stone sent you.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON at remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. IHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and IHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help?
I used to be president of the United States, and I love the show with Phil and JC.
Welcome back to Inside the Gamecocks, the show. JC Sherbert, Phil Molinex here with you. The show is brought to you by Express Sunrooms of Columbia. Give John Barber a call, 803-446-4662, to talk about an outdoor retreat or a backyard retreat for your home. First hour of the show brought to you by Cindy Searfoss and the Coldwell Banker Kane Realty team here in the Upstate. Give Cindy a call, 864-414-5271. And I have not banned Christian. I don't like banning people.
I don't either.
Open forum, y'all can go after him. I love that 76 earlier was like, I'm nice until I'm not. It harkens to that Roadhouse. It was like, be nice until it's time not to be nice.
I'm going to be nice. It's time not to be nice. So, yeah, and Nana's Porch award-winning chat box. That drama up in there today. Daddy blocked him.
Daddy O points it out. I was like, yeah, you can turn whoever off in there you want
to. John, our boy from the Pacific Northwest, Christian, your life just called. It wants you back.
I love that. Our coach has a thin skin. No, he's just defending his program. Just because you have a
thin skin.
Yeah, right. Your coach has a hard time getting out of bed in the morning and doesn't have the vim and vigor to defend his program so well. Don't get upset at us.
I'll tell you what, I mean, there's a little place up in North Carolina called Biscuitville, right? It's really good. Have you ever seen Biscuitville?
I've never seen it.
You got to sort of go between Charlotte and Green. It's between Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham. If you go up 85, there's all these places called Biscuitville. It's delicious. And every time I see Mac Brown, I'm like, man, kind of like me with the beef sandwiches here in Chicago. I'm like, my man's been to Biscuitville. He just couldn't help himself, quite a few times. So, I mean, that's okay. I mean, I think the food would the food in North Carolina be better than Austin, Texas? No, but it's probably different. Probably a little more calories. I don't know. 76 is where are all the Nana's joints located. I must pay a visit. Oh, well, they do like food trucks and catering.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't actually have like a restaurant where you go in and sit down. They do food trucks, catering. Talking about Carolina Rise, we'll have an event at some point, and Nana's Porch will probably cater that. I mean, I'm 100% sure that's who I'll get. They also cater the Big Spur Golf Tournament. Also, when I have a wedding, they'll probably cater the wedding or the rehearsal dinner. If we get back in South Carolina, so they're really, really good. But they've won all kinds of awards based out of Charlotte, but they can do anywhere. Stacy makes a point here about Coach Prime. Sign a day Phillips with Coach Prime lingering. It's going to be a wild day nationally. Yeah, I'm expecting some flips. Just the nature of it.
Yeah, there'll be some Colorado hats thrown on, I'm sure.
Yeah, Joey mentions Trey Knox and the tight end from Florida, Masaka, is visiting this weekend. Gamecocks are trying to flip him from Miami. My understanding is they've got a good shot at doing it.
Yeah, Hale McGranahan had a good article about some of that on the Big Spur today, and we will talk with Hale tomorrow. I'm sorry, Owen McGranahan. As Dowell Loggins misheard yesterday.
Owen.
Noon. Owen.
I'll send a Carolina Rise koozie to the first person in the chat box that knows what movie that's from. Owen.
I know the answer.
I do too. So somebody. Owen. So you get it out there, first person. Carolina Rise koozie. And a bottle of barbecue sauce. How about that? Sweeten the pot if you can figure that out. Hill's joining, and they got some visitors coming in this weekend, and some solutions at tight end. I think the guys they got tight end wise are good, right? The freshmen Sandlin and Cox. I feel better about Cox than maybe I did, as I knocked my headphones off, than maybe I did, player wise before. Didn't know he had a Liz Frank injury he was dealing with as a junior. He's gotten bigger, faster, stronger. Don't know if he's year one. He or Sandlin, either one. But Masaka, as a true freshman, was a little bit more advanced. He's from Texas. Really good player. And so that's that. And then they get a portal guy, Trey Knox. And they could maybe find another portal tight end as well. That room is going to be completely flipped. Have a totally different different look next year. But Trey Knox is a pro. I mean, he's a pro, man. I mean, he's an NFL guy. So I think that'll be something else. Nick Elksness, a Florida transfer, will be an unofficial visitor. He's from Jacksonville Episcopal. High 3-star guy, class of 2021. So they may take a look at him. And then also you have Michael Smith, the 2024 kid. I'll say this too. There's a tight end coming in as a walk-on from Desmond Uzuma Zulu School that they could contribute to. They think he's a guy that will be there a year, and then they'll put him on scholarship. So tight end's looking better. We'll be back after these messages. Top of the hour break inside the Gamecocks. The show.
Just as your State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home, auto, life, or small business insurance with Tony Pope State Farm Insurance today. And guess what you'll get? That's right, even more good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, Tony Pope State Farm is your go-to agent anywhere in South Carolina, North Carolina, or Georgia for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home, life, auto, and or small business insurance today. Tony Pope State Farm has been in business for more than 30 years and can handle anything you need in the tri-state area. Once again, Tony Pope State Farm will help you mix and match perfectly. Call 843-851-2222 or visit TonyPope.com today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Whoop, whoop, easy. He's got a tiger by the tail, he has. He better hang on too.
People have spoken. Nana's Porch was voted the third best food truck or trailer by the Charlotte newspaper Public Poll. Also, their pimento cheese took third in a contest exclusively for products made in the state of North Carolina. I will let Noah Hall tell you about the rest. Nana's Porch, Southern cuisine with an uptown twist. If you're in the upstate of South Carolina and are in need of residential real estate services, Cindy Bass Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane is for you. Ask her about the village at Creekside, all of her listings in my hometown of Spartanburg, South Carolina, right there on Daniel Morgan Avenue, married to a lifelong Gamecock fan. And many of our listeners have already bought homes from her and been 100% satisfied with the detail and care she uses. Cindy Searfoss, 864-414-5271, Caldwell Banker Kane in the upstate for your real estate needs.
This is Braylon Wimmer, South Carolina Gamecock Baseball, and you are listening to Inside the Gamecocks, the show with JC and Phil. Go Cox!
And we're back inside the Gamecocks, the show, second hour of the show, brought to you by the Burgesson team at Remax at the Lake. Give Adam or Derek a call or shoot Adam an email at abergeson, that's ABERGESON, at remax.net. And, of course, we're brought to you by Express Sunrooms in Columbia. Give John Barber a call. Set up a free estimate to talk about some additions to your home or your backyard, 803-446-4662. And it looks like Doug got in there first. I love how Doug and John both got the character right, or the actress right before the movie, and then realized that Doug hit it first. Throw Mama from the Train is where Owen is from. You clumsy pip.
So I owe two of them. I got two koozies, right? And two barbecue sauces. They got it at the same time.
I mean, technically, Doug got it like. You could do both. Yeah, both send us your emails.
All right, yeah.
Email us your addresses, rather. Email us your addresses, John, Doug. Yeah.
Maybe says, inside the Gamecocks at gmail.com is that email address. Maybe says, no, JC, you didn't take Leach's advice, no wedding. It'll be my second wedding. It'll be smaller. We're like a party. I'm sure she'll drive me nuts during that time period, and I will drive her nuts, but that's the deal there. Mac Brown had blah blah blah. Throw Mama from the Train. That's good. That's a good movie. Owen. 76 says JC reframed the I feel better about Cox. I just I thought he needed a lot of development. And you take guys like that. He's got a big frame. He's he's athletic. But I didn't know the film I was watching. He was playing through pain. That obviously can. I mean, look at Luke Doty when he had a fractured foot. Step slower, right? So that's the dude there. Krager says the movie where she breaks the dude's ankle. Nah, that's Misery with Kathy Bates. And James Caan's and the late James Caan.
James Caan. Oh, yeah.
Santino Corleone. Rick got it later. Hell, Rick, send us your address too. We'll send you a Carolina Rice koozie. Doug says JC's
feeling generous. Tis the season.
Tis the season. Merry Christmas. Anyway, Clarence says if we get these portal tight ends, we completely flip that room and get better production. Well, yeah, I can see. Okay, so Austin, Jaheim Bell and Austin Stott are great players. I thought, but are they complete tight ends? I think Stogg tried blocking. He was a little better blocking here than he was in Oklahoma, but I think he's a split out wide guy. That's like a slower, less strong version of Mark Andrews, maybe.
Yeah, they're both very large framed slot receivers.
Yeah, but good hands, great hands, good route runner. I mean, probably underutilized. And then Jaheim, to me, was like a Swiss Army knife guy, do it all guy. So your tight ends were Nate Atkins and Trey Kenyon, basically. Trey Knox is a tight end. He started as a receiver and they grew him into one at Arkansas. And he's just like this big, fast, physical. I mean, that dude's going to be, I can't wait to see how they use him. But that's the thing, just the thing there. 76 says, love me some Godfather. Absolutely. Jared says, I don't understand completely the opt-out. Is it fear of injury or fear of losing value? Seems like an extra game to showcase your ability. I think it's one of those things. It's a popular move to make, right? And the people that have given that advice are agenda driven, and not agenda because they sit there and talk about how players shouldn't play these meaningless games. And I'm like, and they're the people that want to kill college football. So, but it's easy to sit there when you're a player and have that fear, right? Because God knows you play in the bowl, you get hurt, your draft is out the door. And so I get that part of it, but it's kind of funny. It wasn't, it's kind of funny that it wasn't, it wasn't all that popular back in the day. Everybody just stayed through the bowl. That was just how it went. But then when one guy did it, who was it? Was it Leonard Fournette that did it? Somebody did it. Everybody just praised him. The national media, oh my God, he's making just such a great decision by that young man, and blah, blah, blah. And like we have some guys opt out around here. I had no problem with Deebo Samuel opting out. Deebo finally made it through a whole season healthy. A guy that's been injured all the time like that. I don't blame that guy. Fine. I mean, I everybody was mad at Deebo. I had nothing wrong with Deebo opting out. But some of these guys like Rush. I mean, I'm kind of with you. I think he can improve his stock even more in a showcase game like Notre Dame, But I don't know. It's everybody's individual choice. I just will tell you that it's a more popular deal to just opt out of the bowl, which I think's I think the NCAA, because they're not very smart, but they need to maybe do something like, okay, if you play in the bowl, it doesn't count against your 4 games red shirt deal. You know what I'm saying? And let everybody play and all that, that kind of stuff. So I'm all for adjusting the bowl rules to save the bowls. But I also think at the same time, if Carolina wasn't playing Notre Dame, let's say they're playing Illinois or some other team or whatever, you always want to win. It's also kind of fun to sit there and, see young players step in and play for the first time. So maybe that'll happen there. Like Chris mentioned, Lavassier Carroll, that would be pretty awesome. Nana Sports chat box rolls on. Jeff Fowler mentions, is Rucker leaving Muschamp's fault? Yeah, I know everybody's mad at Will Muschamp and they blame Will Muschamp. Oh, these are Muschamp kids. They're selfish. And I don't think that's the case. I'm not saying none of these guys were. I think there is some selfishness in some cases. Don't get me wrong. But Will Muschamp, for every guy that's opted out, he left 4 or 5 good players, So I can't fault him. And, maybe I'm like a compartment, I like to compartmentalize and be, it's not all good. It's not all bad. There are different aspects of it that were good and bad. And I think, when you look back, Will, when he was at Carolina, the decision to retain him by Ray Tanner, some people talk about, it being something where it set the program back. I don't think it did, because if you, in hindsight, and I made the case, maybe they should consider, that nobody really gets through a bad, disastrous year 4 in the SEC, and then maybe they should move. But I'm glad they didn't, because what happened was Muschamp signs a 2020 recruiting class that's got a lot of really good players in it. The pandemic hits, all the stuff that happened in the summer of 2020, he kept the team completely together. He listened to the players and their grievances. They did their protest or whatever, but there was a lot of solidarity. Now they turned around and went 2-8 and he got fired. But if he hadn't done that, that recruiting class never comes. You have Beamer or Napier or Scott Satterfield taking over, and then the pandemic hitting. So recruiting grinds to a halt. You don't have any players there to kind of get started with. Now, you'd have the portal eventually, but it would have been very difficult. I think that Will Muschamp and kind of how he left the program helped facilitate things like beating Clemson, beating Tennessee, going to the Gator Bowl, that kind of stuff. Austin B says, JC doesn't seem to get it either, and he owns the site, bud. No, I got it. I got it, Javaller. No, I got you were joking. It's sarcastic. My bad. I'm sorry. No, I didn't want Javaller to think that I wasn't knowing that he. My bad, dude. My bad on that. Now I wasn't getting on you. I was thinking some people say that. My fault on that. John Barber checks in. JBK. I love Shane Beamer. There we go. Eric says anyone who is mad at players for opting out of the bowl is just selfish themselves. Taking care of their health is their right as a player. I tend to agree with that. I think maybe I misspoke there too. When I said there is some selfishness, I was talking more about like portal guys, not opt out, right?
Mm.
I think it's fine to do it. I also think that there's some guys that do it because it's the popular thing to do, and they'd probably rather play, but it's popular. It's kind of becoming a rite of passage. Will says, is there a bigger donor that Shane and the AD could convince to carry the load at NIL? Surely someone could step up in a huge way. Are those conversations happening? I don't think it's up to one person, but I do know there's some conversations taking place. I think the key is going to be, where's the money routed? How are they getting it? How is it going to be applied to the situation? That kind of thing. But hopefully they do come in. Will says, what do we think of the founder of Under Armour recruiting for Maryland? Seems like a big conflict of interest. Yeah, I want to talk about this.
Yeah, I saw that too. If that's, go ahead, JC, go ahead.
If that's the case, South Carolina needs to terminate that terminate the contract, because, and I guess maybe nobody realized it because Maryland hasn't always been like a big recruiting rival for the Gamecocks, but it's been one of those things where, now they're butting heads on guys. And when you have the owner of the company that provides you have a gear contract with openly recruiting for the other team that you're recruiting against, you don't need to be putting money in his company because you're basically paying him to defeat you.
Yeah, you're feeding his ability to make your life harder. It's just I don't know. There's got to be some sort of good faith clause in there that they can buy if they can show cause. It's just ridiculous. We're calling on Coach Staley now. It's time to flex. Let's let's call Phil and get the jump man here at South
Yeah.
Carolina.
I'm the late Stone, says Phil Knight, as he does the same with Nike at Oregon. He actually started a collective. It's a little more quiet out there, though, because Nike, Oregon's always been synonymous with Nike. And trying to make Maryland synonymous with Under Armour or whatever, but it's a little bit different type of deal. And Nike also, regardless of what Phil Knight does with the Ducks, like people are talking about Jumpman, that can help facilitate, better brand awareness and your recruiting and all that. So I think that's the direction South Carolina needs to go. Ryan says, what's the email to reach you and Phil? Thanks in advance. It's it's inside the Gamecocks at gmail.com. Jordan Brown with Fit. Rick says he's got thousands of dollars worth of Under Armour clothes and shoes ready for whatever's next. VJ says there's got to be some kind of deal. This is interesting with Jumpman women's basketball, the football team, and the login gains on the offense. Yeah, I think men's basketball would really benefit from being cool like that. And I think Dawn Staley's a popular enough individual to where she could help facilitate and get that done.
That team's dominant enough too to where it would be, the premier piece, if you would, to bring them here. I don't know. And Clemson is a Nike school, but not a Jumpman school. Am I correct in that?
Clemson is Nike.
Yeah. And that's the difference too between what's going on up there in Maryland and what's going on out in Oregon is that Phil Knight actually created his own collective.
Yeah.
And I don't think this guy I can't remember his name, but the
Plank.
Plank. Yeah, I don't think there's a collective for Maryland up there been created by him with his own money and all of that. So that's what the huge difference is here.
Yeah,
and wasn't Maryland one of the first UA schools, JC?
Yeah, well, Kevin Plank, the Under Armour owner, is a Maryland grad.
Yeah,
he's a Terp. So we got to take a break. We'll be back after these messages. We got some stuff in the IM Consulting mailbag. It's overfloweth right here on the show. Hey, man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
Oh, I feel that, man. My head hurts, but I have a good lead on a good idea. I'm calling your boy Matthew Odom today from Heritage Digital. Heritage Digital is an IT firm that specializes in making sure your IT network runs like a dream. If you have 1 or 500 employees, it doesn't matter. They do it all for one monthly fee and have clients from South Carolina all the way to California.
Yeah, I heard that monthly fee's low too, so I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Do you have 843-699-1001 as Matt's contact number?
Yeah, man, I sure do that. Or you can go to heritagedigital.com.
Man, I hear they do a no-cost assessment. Boy, this will help me.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm getting on that and encouraging everyone else to do the same. Heritage Digital, 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com, a proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
You can't handle the truth.
Gamecock Nation, do you need a place to stay for the big game? Many hotel booking engines keep all the commissions, but at Fan Plans, you support Inside the Gamecocks, still earn your hotel loyalty points, and you receive an email with direct confirmation from the hotel. Whether you are visiting Columbia to cheer on Carolina or hitting the road to follow the team, get in the stands with Fan Plans.
Yep, time to get back to the show. Shoot. All right, my man.
Welcome back to the show, Inside the Gamecocks, with JC Sherman and Phil Mullinax here with you. Brought to you, of course, by Express Sunrooms of Columbia. Give John Barber a call, 803-446-4662, to discuss your next outdoor retreat. And, of course, the second hour of the show is brought to you by the Burgesson team at RE/MAX by the Lake. Give Adam or Derek a call or shoot him an email, actually, as preferred. Burgesson, that's ABERGESON, at remax.net to talk about your investment or commercial real estate needs.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Welcome to Inside the Gamecocks, the show. So the guys decided to come on the message board now and talk about collectives. This is awesome. So anyway, I don't know. He wants an executive director. So you guys, let me explain this to you guys. They want to hire an executive director. So how much an executive director make? 75, 80 grand at a minimum to get a good one? We don't have that much money to give. Neither do they, right? Not right now. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But doesn't that run counter to his initial point where, he was talking about somebody gets a nibble and all of that? It was like, damn, that's not a nibble. Somebody's eating lunch.
Yeah. So that's the deal there. I mean, I'm like, I just don't think that right now is the time to be paying people. And look, I can handle it, man. I've done it. Like I said, it's doubled. If it gets out of control, I'll be very transparent and forthcoming and tell you guys, look, we got to do this because it's out of control. And look, I think I have a little bit better chance of talking someone, into, or not talking someone in, or presenting the facts about recruiting and how it affects football and the sports better than somebody that doesn't. So that's why I don't have no interest in an executive director, because I kind of know where the money needs to go. I know who the money's for. I know the lay of the land. I know the landscape in college football. See, that's another thing about it. I just, I feel like, some of the things I see and read, not just in South Carolina's market, but other markets with the collectives, it either is, and look, there's nobody, the Garnet Trust people in our market, they're not, I don't sit there and go, well, they're just wanting to line people's pockets, right? I don't, I don't necessarily agree with some of their philosophy, some of their deals. I definitely would not personally pay kids to do charity work, but if they want to do that, that's fine. I have no problem. It's all about Carolina, like I said. But I've seen in other markets, like, just ridiculousness, and they don't get it. They don't get that, this is for the players and this is largely to help, compete. My thing is with Carolina, right? It is set up to compete with other schools. It's not set up to be, this massive marketing agency that that's Park Avenue. That's the other guys. This is set up to where your money as fans that you send in goes directly towards competing and seeing your team have players there. So therefore they can win. You know what I'm saying? And we do some great stuff promotionally. I mean, we've helped businesses quite a bit. Some on this show. We got a couple businesses coming in. I mean, there is a return on it from players promoting you. But like I said, we're in a world now where Instagram influencers get $100,000 a post. Carolina football players, that's popular. That helps your business. And so that's my thing with that. And we're going to do other stuff, probably some more product, like posters signed by players and that have deals with us and some public appearances and a lot of stuff. We got a lot of good stuff coming up, man. But that's been my focus is, to me, any penny you give me, I know where it needs to go. And I don't know that anybody else has that ability right now. And so it pisses me off that people say stuff like that. Douglas says 358 Plantation Drive, Greenwood. Thanks, clowns. It's inside the Gamecocks at gmail.com is how to get into the iHelp Consulting mailbag. We love iHelp Consulting. It was my first advertiser. Heritage Digital is coming back in too, though, so they're mailing a check in, and we look forward to that. Barron says, "Thank you for all you and your brother do for Carolina Rise and Gamecocks athletics." My brother Cam, it's his mom's birthday today too, right? So you've done the best.
That's generally how it works. Yeah.
appears the only job educating the fans on NIL. I've long been disappointed in Ray and his leadership, but the more I've learned about NIL, the more disappointed I've been. Defeated is probably the right word. We finally have real momentum as a program, but our lack of NIL initiative curbs the momentum. Now, I'll say this, Baron, Carolina Rise has momentum right now. We just have to keep it up. Why was the AD's office so slow to embrace NIL? Why was nothing done for Park Avenue being shut down to one commercial produced last week after the season was over? Where are our donor relations people going after the big money boosters for NIL? They have, and a lot of the big money boosters, they need to further understand it, right? Shane got on the fans and media yesterday for doom and gloom, but the truth seems now with the portal and NIL, the Tennessee and Clemson win momentum doesn't mean as much as it would have 3 years ago. Well, it doesn't mean everything, right? Because you do have a financial component to recruiting now, Bear. It's not always going to be blame the coach for not landing this recruit anymore. I think the athletic department's going to get behind it. I think that, just based off that video and then, other things like that we promoted on social media and things of that nature, it's really growing. Like I've got the Carolina Rise email inbox up, and it's boom, 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 order. I had to order 5 more trucker hats today. I need to get those bad boys in bulk, man. But I have a good price on them at piecemeal anyway. But and look, sometimes I'll buy the gear and just put there's no like profit or expense because I'll just put it in there. Yeah, and that's my whole thing. We need money. We meaning the University of South Carolina. It needs NIL money. And that's my focus, man. Raise as much as I can. I'm not interested in having a board of directors. I'm not interested in having, this, that, or the other, and making it, seem quote unquote professional or whatever. Fine. You guys can do a better job being professional and going, and you could raise $5 million. Great. Super. That's good for the Gamecocks. I'm interested in doing what it takes to raise enough funds to where Carolina can compete in a space that I'm very, very familiar with, recruiting, college football, roster retention, all that. But hopefully the AD continues to get behind it. Myron comes in to the IL Consulting mailbag. JC and Phil have some thoughts about the presser. Everyone's saying Loggins won the press conference. He made some great points with some things that made me question. When he was asked about the offense he runs, he separated himself from the program. He said, when we played y'all, you see how that went, and we were better than y'all all day and probably all year. That was a curious comment, Phil.
I did. When he started referring to us as y'all, he still had that Arkansas mindset. Although I kind of just played it off as, this is new to him, and I doubt he'll do that again. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think kind of get out of that Arkansas mindset, that kind of thing. I don't know. Dowell's from Texas. He kind of has a southern accent. Y'all. They say we don't play y'all. We play. So I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't get on him that much. I mean, look, man. If it was just all about the Hogs and Woo Pig Suey, he probably wouldn't have taken the job because I don't even think he's in this for money. I've never heard an incoming coach not take ownership of the program like that. Given the fact that what he said was true, it sounds to me like this is a business decision for him, which is fine. It also sounds like his loyalties are with Arkansas. Carolina did have a coach like that, Madre Hill. He got fired quickly by Steve Spurrier. Kind of big Arkansas guy, and just didn't want to do it. My opinion is if he has any kind of success this year, it's a guarantee he goes back. It's not a bad thing, just my opinion. Yeah, remember there is no tomorrow in college football now. I don't even think these days you really need to overemphasize making a hire of a guy that's, you're worried about that's going to bolt for a head coaching job or another opportunity. I don't even think I think you're trying to win next year and worry about 2024 and 2024. I hope Shane sees it the same way, that this is a business decision to further create the type of offense he wants. This way he can plug and play coordinators who can fit the style he wants in the future. That's a good point, Myron. This makes sense because Shane constantly says we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Either way, I support the program and go Cox. Lamont. Okay, so Phil, I've got to start reading. Maybe you can help me with this.
I do the same thing, man. Yeah, I don't look at the signature line first.
I'm just like, so
Yeah, Lamont. Oh, it's Lamont Paris. No, I'm just kidding. That's
it's kind of crazy.
Reckless speculation.
Yeah, reckless speculation. Nana Sports chat box. Ryan sent the email. Hold on. Eric Folk says, wait until I win the Powerball. I'll give half the Gamecocks and half the church. Not kidding. Eric, you've been doing a little day drinking today, bud? Eric.
The Lord only asked for 10%, Eric.
Yeah, no, Eric's the one. Like, I think it was the Thursday before the Georgia game. He's like, I'm already pre-gaming. And I'm like, oh my God. You're the best. Maybe he says about Dowell Loggins, I don't know that he'll go back. I think he's more ambitious. And based on what has been posted on the Arkansas board, it seems he and Pittman had some issues. See, I thought Browse and Pittman had some issues. I don't know. I think he wants to be the head coach there. Interesting. Dos Bandito says, I think Loggins is here to help the offensive staff and Colonel Zeb, not necessarily be a long-term solution. Zeb Nolan, next OC at Carolina. Personally think Zeb Nolan will be a hell of an OC someday. So, 76 says, JC, thanks for fibbing. If I win the lottery, Carolina will rise.
I mean, I'm of the same opinion. If I were to hit the big lottery, don't worry, there'd be plenty of money in the Carolina Rise golfers.
All right, so Eric comes clean. He's like, I've only had a 6-pack.
Oh, okay. Well, good. You're pacing yourself, Eric. That's good to see.
It's not bad. It's not bad by lunchtime.
No, midday. Yeah, he's good.
You know who you did. So to recap once again, Carolina lost last night to UAB in basketball, 84-70. I think they're down 14 at the half and kept them from blowing them out.
Mm-hmm.
Not a very good team. Not going to be a very good season as things look now. Concerned about this group when they get to SEC play, which is going to be even harder. And then Darius Rush opts out today of the bowl. And that, I don't know if he's going to play or not, but I think that's one of those things there. Visits this weekend. I wonder if these have been updated. Trey Knox is coming in from Arkansas. We got more. We got Xavier McLeod coming in. We got Virginia linebacker commit Cameron Robinson. Look out for him. You guys that like linebackers, check him out. Reed McKeska from Texas that's committed to Miami. The tight end's coming in. Tyshawn Russell from Pennsylvania is coming in as well. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll have some unofficial visitors too. So people ask, I think Carolina could end up with Robinson, McKeska, and Russell. All three of them. Now, I'm not saying they will, but I think things are looking pretty good, with those guys. Robinson is a stud, and they had a really good in-home with him. He's from Tappahannock, Virginia, Essex High School. That's a Virginia name right there, Tappahannock.
Yeah, Tappahannock. That definitely is a Virginia name right there.
No doubt about it. So there you go with that for this weekend. iHelp Consulting Mailbag rolls on. Phil, I think we got one in here from Pike Man.
Let's see. Yeah, JC Phil wanted to ask a question outside the normal conversation as of late. Could you touch on what a typical OC does to a playbook from season to season? Does an entire playbook get scrapped and rewritten? Do you keep and modify successful plays and write some new ones? Could a playbook change from season to season with a returning OC? P.S. Any Big Spurt tailgating planned for the bowl? Signed, Michael.
I don't know, Phil. I think
I know you'll be found in the parking lots of down there in Jacksonville.
Oh yeah, the bowl. Yeah, I've actually got no official Big Spur tailgate there, but I'll be there. I'm going with a lot of my friends, both Gamecock friends, people I've met in recent years, people I've known my whole life. My family, Cam, my brother Cam, and his kids are coming. We got a mess of us going to the Gator Bowl. And I've never been to the Gator Bowl. I've been to that stadium, but I've never been to the Gator Bowl. So it'll be pretty fun there. As far as the OC goes, it depends season to season. The offensive coordinator, he'll have his playbook, and they're putting stuff in, maybe taking stuff out, that kind of thing. Will Dowell Loggins come in and have his own playbook? Yeah, I think so. But he'll also, there's probably some carryover. One big thing they need to do is strip the terminology down a little bit to make it easier to learn.
Yeah, and I think Loggins intimated too that what his playbook is going to look like will be contingent upon whether or not Rattler stays.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Spencer will have a lot of influence over the thing, not necessarily influence over the direct plays he draws up, or just the ones that fit Spencer's skill sets the best.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the deal there is this is a lot largely about Spencer Rattler. So, Mario, I'll get it. Hell, put it out so I can talk about it. Mario Anderson. Okay, this is a cat from.
Is this the running back?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this guy real quick. All right, so this cat is from Newberry College. He's from Stratford High School. All-American, Player of the Year honors. Go watch his film. I was told they think he may be better than Marshawn Lloyd. He got in the portal yesterday and is visiting Carolina this weekend. He's rushed for 3,301 yards, 35 touchdowns in his career. Big time guy. So that's the deal there. Somebody said nice walk-on candidate. He's not going to walk on, man. He may be the starting running back next year.
Yeah, that's a guy you give a scholarship to.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, don't hate on this kid because he plays at Newberry College. He had to go to Newberry because of grades, right? And walked on there, and just please don't think this guy's not a player. I mean, so anyway. So yeah, Mario Anderson, and before the naysayers hit, I'll remind you that South Carolina beat Clemson this year, which a lot of us, I think, I'm still kind of trying to process that. It's almost like they didn't, but they did. And who made some key plays in the game? Well, a transfer from East Tennessee State made some plays in the game, key plays. A transfer from James Madison was the player of the game. And then,
Wingate as well.
Transfer from Wingate. Jalen Brooks had big plays in the game. So don't hate on this guy, man. Stump Mitchell went to Citadel. He was a pretty good running back. So that's you look at the film and it's a no-brainer. So I wouldn't just sit there and chill with him. I mean, I don't really want to hear, oh, he's at Newberry, because there's a reason. Evan says, I don't want to be too back to the Nana Sports chat box. Brett Krager says, well, hold on. I'll start with Krager. Rattler signed an NIL deal with Mercedes. Does that mean he's returning? Maybe. I don't know. I'm leaning towards he's returning because I don't know that his draft grade is going to be high enough. So there's that. Maybe he says lots of speculation about Loggins guys and Keytron Jackson and Trey Knox in the portal. I think South Carolina's looking good for both right now. Back to Evan's point about the basketball team. Don't want to be too negative, but this team makes me want to scratch my eyeballs out. I'm trying to determine if it's players or coaching. The offense looks abysmal.
It's rough to watch, man.
I don't know about it, coach. I mean, I understand. Like Keith went off yesterday when we were in the town hall about, Lamont doesn't have any players. Well, he doesn't, but they don't look very well coached either. I mean, I'll be honest about that. So I'm not going to hang everything around Lamont's neck. I mean, Lamont Paris is in his first year. Again, you have to bring a lot of money to the table in the transfer portal of basketball. So the pickings were slim. I mean, he had a guy that played for him at Chattanooga that was allegedly supposed to come. Gonzaga, which puts all their NIL money into basketball, offers him a deal, and he goes to Gonzaga. So That's the thing there. So yeah, Marion says running back played high school ball at Stratford. Lance says, "Holy Batman, we got a shot with Anderson." Yeah, definitely. Hutch says, "Agreed, JC. Just looks like backyard basketball, except I can't dunk or shoot or guard or run full court." Contrail says, "If I won the lottery, I'd buy Carolina out of that Under Armour contract and upgrade Williams Bryce with an overpass across Bluff Road, plus a retractable roof." Man, that's a good addition there, Quantrill.
Yeah, man, that'd be great. I love it.
Because the overpass across Bluff probably should have happened a long time ago. I don't know why nobody ever thought of that. But then throwing a retractable roof on top of it, that's big time. It's a big time deal. Josh says this one thing I liked about Dowell Loggins' presser, calling and working up plays based on strength, compared to Sat, who believes so hard that his way was the only way. Just go learn it. Yeah. I mean, get the ball to your best players, right? Get the ball to your best players.
And I think going back to Pikeman's comments in the I Help Consulting mailbag is that, when you look at Loggins versus Satterfield, like Satterfield, you basically threw everything out from the year before and started from scratch. And even after 2 years, he couldn't get out of his own way. But, the way Loggins was talking, it's not going to look anything like that. It's going to be a lot easier to deal with.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Thank God for that. Yeah, I got one more I Help Consulting mailbag question. Chris says, JC and Phil, 2 questions. Why do you think we didn't offer Allie Jennings out of the portal? Seems even sillier now that Rucker upped and left. Grades. I can kind of tell you that now. I kind of have to confirm it. Grades, and they think they're going to get better talent-wise at receiver too. Who do you think is a likely Rucker replacement from the portal? Anybody? Even what body type you look for, if no one's specific. It kind of depends on who comes along. Like, I think the kid from South Carolina State, Shaquan Davis, is going to go pro. But let's just say hypothetically he got in the portal and want to come to South Carolina. You sign him, 6'5", big-time guy. But also I think you can always use speed, especially with a quarterback like Rattler who can, hit the deep post and things like that pretty easily. Any update on contact with Sam McCall? Relationship with Torian Gray seems obvious, but after a good situation at FSU, fans online were quick to question his attitude. It feels like we should be grabbing a portal player any day now that the OC search is behind us. Check out Trey Knox when you get to Saturday. But also my understanding is this, Chris, too. After the bowl games are over, there's going to be another deluge of players hitting the portal. And a lot of the guys out there that I think, I'm not saying Carolina kind of scouts them and, has their eye, hypothetically. Yeah, Carolina's not out there tampering, right? But they're out there hypothetically going, if this guy got in, and then you get info or whatever and scuttlebutt. There's going to be more guys, in the portal. I haven't heard anything about Sam McCall. I know he was kind of a 5-star dude that did have a relationship with Torian Gray. I'm just not. He may not be what's called a culture fit. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I just haven't heard of him. Rumblings of decommits or potential signing day flips either way for the Gamecocks. Just want to know what to keep an eye on. I'd still keep an eye on Vakari Swain, even though his coach said he's solid with Colorado specifically. They're going to try to get Big Tree Babalade back in. So keep an eye on those. And Chris goes on to say, blessings and swing your sword. R.I.P. the pirate. Amen. Somebody told me to swing my sword yesterday. I almost cried. I was like, oh, God. So anyway, let's take a final break right here on Inside the Gamecocks, the show. We'll wrap it up on a Thursday. Don't forget tomorrow we are going to have Hale McGranahan, hell yes, to talk recruiting. Get you ready for this recruiting weekend. And also bigger news to come with JBK, which will become a Friday staple. We appreciate all of you listening. The show will return after these messages.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON@remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
What's up, Gamecock fans? This is Pitcher Noah Hall. If you want some delicious food for your event, I suggest visiting nanasporch.com today to find out what they all have to offer. It's really good Southern cuisine based out of Charlotte, my hometown. I hope you guys go check it out. Go Cox and go Nanas.
I've been expecting you, Mr. Powers.
Sometime in the near future, there's a good chance I'll move back to my home area of the upstate of South Carolina. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's nobody I would use to help me find a new home except Cindy Bass-Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane, located in my hometown of Spartanburg, Daniel Morgan Avenue, married to a diehard Gamecock. 864-414-5271. Give Cindy a call. 864-414-5271. A proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it, let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Hey, Mo Cowboy here from the Carolina Gamecocks. You're listening to Inside the Gamecocks, the show with JC and Phil.
Welcome back to Inside the Gamecocks, the show, brought to you by Express Sunrooms of Columbia. Give John Barber a call, 803-446-4662, to schedule a free consultation about backyard retreat or an enclosed porch, which is something I'm kind of keenly interested in looking at. And second hour of the show is brought to you by the Burgesson team at RE/MAX at the Lake. Give Adam or Derek a call or shoot them an email at aburgesson, that's ABERGESON, at remax.net for your commercial or investment real estate needs.
All right. So some of the people are talking now about this. I'm just going to remind everybody again. Wingate, East Tennessee State, James Madison. Right? Come on. I think he's a good player. I mean, look, you're going to have to adjust to the level of competition, obviously. But I think he's a really talented player, does some, natural stuff, in my opinion. 7.4 yards per carry in D2. I think it's crazy. God, Wells was a star on the Nationals. It was a huge difference between the league. Yeah, I'm just like, it does not matter, dude.
I don't know. I mean, some of those D2 programs you could put up against, some of the former ACC coastal schools, and they would compete. So, I mean, come on, you got to look at it from that direction. And a lot of those schools are kind of like junior colleges in certain ways. When the kids can get in, especially if they're in-state kids, it's easier to get into some of those schools than it is to some of the premier, Division I universities. It's just the fact of the matter. So, there's any number of reasons why they're playing at that level to start their careers as opposed to jumping on board with some sort of Power 5 school.
Yeah, and this kid had great issues, right? So, I don't know. Chip Lindsey gets hired as North Carolina's OC, so he replaces Longo. It's just like, God, Carolina fans, they're driving me nuts. It does not matter what level program, how good your program. But it doesn't matter. This kid's good. This kid can start. No doubt.
I mean, how many kids go to IMG, JC, that go to Power 5 schools that don't make it to the league?
Yeah, it's and how much? I'm sorry for getting distracted. Because my contact in Carolina told me this kid could be. They said this kid's better than Marshawn Lloyd. That's a bold statement, especially with Marshawn's healthy. So, and he's an in-state kid from Stratford High School that didn't have grades and had to end up at Newberry as a walk-on and has worked his butt off and is a hell of a player. I mean, when are we going to all learn our lessons around here about in-state players, huh? When we're going to start, and look, Brooks and Wells and Atkins were not in-state players. They're from Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia. But in-state guys, man, I mean, that's crazy. Quantrell says, I believe in Taylor Edwards and his staff when it comes to portal recruiting. It's a reason why they have a specific staff for this type of recruiting. Yeah, they could use more, too. They probably need another guy or two in the building to help with all this stuff. Stacy says, Missouri running back, wasn't he from somewhere small? Yeah. Adam says this is interesting. We should try and become the first Kobe or Mamba school. Wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't hate it. Just not LeBron. And I'll tell you what, it's nothing to do with politics. I think I'm just on team Michael Jordan when it comes to the LeBron Jordan debate. I'm on Michael Jordan. So that's it there. Dos Benita says Steve Smith Sr. was in junior college. So there we go. And then the Missouri running back, Cody Schrader, he played well. I mean, I think this guy's a no-brainer that could probably start. An in-state guy. I mean, he was playing D2 ball, but he averaged almost, 7.4 yards per carry. I don't care who you are. That's not easy. That's not easy. Quantrell says this fan base is obsessed with stars and notoriety. Give me the players. I think so, too. I mean, because if you think about it, like those star ratings, they should almost disappear after you hit campus, right? Unfortunately, some guys carry it around, and so like, he was this out of high school. Let's sign him, and they end up being busts. So
they're subjective too, JC. It's not like it's all objectivity there. It's like these are individual folks. I mean, the drill. I mean, these people get together and say, okay, this is kind of how we're going to do it. But it's not like you're plugging these kids into an algorithm or something, and AI is watching the tape and saying, okay, this is a 4-star player.
Exactly. They're like, and a lot of times your guys are from this level are hungry. This kid went to Newberry College. They gave him $500 a semester, right? Because he was a walk-on for books or something. I mean, he's not hunting big NIL money right now. And somebody mentioned his offer list. I don't like the offer list. Well, he just got in the portal like late yesterday afternoon, and it's like Liberty and some other schools. I'm like, you better hope he doesn't get a bunch of offers. This is one you kind of want to keep quiet, I think.
Yeah, like an Eamon Worry situation, or DQ Smith. It was like you're just hoping you can keep it close to the vest before the word gets out.
I was going to say, how many in-state players who don't have big stars by their name have to come to Carolina and shine for folks to just say, all right, chalk it up, in-state, that kind of thing. Oh, my goodness. Nana Sports chat box goes on. Will says people would rather get a 4-star transfer that has never played over a guy who's shown success at the college level.
Some people would. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
I think it's a bragging rights thing because they can, you talk smack to your buddies about recruiting too. Like, well, we got this 4 or 5-star guy, and the buddies, and then so your Clemson buddies are probably going to sit there and be like, oh, you took the kid from Newberry. And, I mean, are they sitting there going, you took the kid from James Madison. The kid from Wingate, kid from East Tennessee.
Your recruiting class is so-and-so in the nation,
Quantrell says,
A&M.
Yeah, no doubt. Quantrell says, hey, JC, if LeBron sponsorship gets us Nike apparel, I'm all for it. Yeah, I got you. Maybe he says they took the green kid. Can't talk about any crap like that. And I said, no. I'm like, no, Clemson. I'm saying Carolina fans tend to trash non-star rated guys because I think they want to talk trash to Clemson people and their buddies. That's all I'm saying. And, yeah, you can win that argument by pointing to the scoreboard, as Cameron, my brother who's in there. Cam, I hope you know it's Mom's birthday today. I hope you sent Mom a text and told her happy birthday, Cam. Anyway, Clemson did take the green kid from Dutch Fork, and maybe that's one Carolina may look back and say, I should have taken him, or should have taken him early. Now, apparently he had the whole Antonio Williams, Clemson's my dream school thing going anyway. So maybe they lost him. Carolina, if I were them, I would try to take the receiver from Charlotte that's from Dutch Fork, Elijah Spencer, because you got to get some guys from Dutch Fork, man. That's turning into a situation where the powerhouse program in your city doesn't send players to you, and that's never good. That would be like South Panola not sending kids to Ole Miss. So anyway, 76 says, hey, we got another Sherbs in the house. Yeah, that's Cam, who co-owner of Carolina Rise, co-director, I guess. Quattrell says, I think the hidden gem of the state's Tyler Brown from Greenville High. He can fly. Yeah, and he going to Clemson too. Tyler Brown. I think he is going to Clemson. I think that kid, I think the corner from Daniel is going to be a player for them. Clemson's got some, and look, guys, look at their first national championship two deep, or the first time they played for it in 2015. Look at their two deep. Like in the second, it's a bunch of three-star kids from South Carolina on that roster for Clemson. And you saw where they went. So I think people like that are very valuable. Yeah, let's take a look at Clemson's 3 in-state commits. Tyler Brown, Lovin. Michun Kelly, the corner from Daniel, Lovin. Jarvis Green, the running back from Dutch Fork, Lovin. Smart. I think they've probably seen Carolina have success with guys like that for a while, and so they're kind of looking at it with all that. But Carolina's done pretty well in-state. It's one of those things where this kid from Newberry, they need him. They need him. Quantrell says kids love Nike. That's true. Gamecock says, JC, do you think Rattler comes back? I'm kind of leaning that way. I'll say this. It will not be because if he leaves, he's leaving to go to the NFL because he thinks it's the best decision for his future, and he's probably going to get drafted pretty high. It won't be because of Dowell Loggins, although some may continue to hold on to that. But I'm kind of leaning toward it. There's a lot of signs there that say right now, barring a surprising, and you're talking about money, so you're talking about greed, and you're talking about agents and other people. I think there's a good chance he does. I could see him doing it, and I think Juice Wells will come back as well. And Carolina should have a pretty good start to an offense. Maybe says, speaking of in-state kids we might regret, what do you think about the receiver from Northwestern, Caldwell? Is he related to Jakari? Because that may be the holdup there. Jaffaler says, I'm convinced Dutch Fork hates sending kids here. I don't know. Who's Carolina gotten out of Dutch Fork? Garrett Anderson? Was that the last one? I don't know. Maybe says he doesn't think there's a relation. Yeah, that may be another one. I like him quite a bit as well. In-state guy. In-state receivers hit. Yeah, they hit at a high clip. Lance Player says, Super Mario, let's go. Man, I got a bunch of orders just while we've been sitting here on Carolina.
I know. It's crazy.
My God. It's been crazy. It's been
keep those cards and letters coming, man. It's like, yeah.
Christmas cards, Christmas story, the Christmas time, So so there's that. Tomorrow,
and I don't think there is. I agree. I don't think there is a relation between Jakari and Elijah Caldwell.
Yeah, my bad on that one. Because I know why Jakari left the program.
Yeah,
it's kind of wasn't good. But anyway, I think Quantrell says Dutch Fork's a Nike school. Fabulous, interesting. So we'll see. Gosh, Ryan says Coach Simpson, Sheldon Brown, Sidney Rice, John Abraham, just to name a few that weren't highly rated. Best ever to gone the garnet and black. Yeah. Devin Taylor was pretty good. He was a low guy, that kind of thing. The state has players. It's never a bad idea to sign those folks. All right, another great show today. Eric says there's a cold one calling your name. Get on Steve six-pack number 2. Jan, Stephen Davis Jr. did transfer in for a minute and go out. He signed with Auburn out of high school. But, it's the last Dutch Fork guy. I think there may be somebody else in there I'm missing. But who knows? All right, for Phil Mullinax, JC Sherbert, we'll talk to you tomorrow. This has been Inside the Gamecocks, the show. Have a great Thursday afternoon, and we'll wrap it up tomorrow right here on the show.